1995 Young Readers' Choice Awards.
11-year-old Marty Preston loves to spend time behind his house in the hills in West Virginia. One summer, Marty comes across a mistreated beagle and the trouble begins. What do you do when a dog runs away from his abusive owner and comes to you? What do you do when a man who owns the dog has a gun? This is Marty's problem, and he has to put his courage on the lines. Sometimes it's not easy to separate right from wrong, but sometimes you will do almost anything to save a dog. Many readers were captured by Marty's dilemma with the dog Shiloh in Phyllis Reynolds Naylor's Newbery Award-winning book. It was the winner of the 1994 Young Readers' Choice Award.
The Young Readers' Choice Award is the oldest children's choice award in the United States, and it is the only regional award chosen by children in 2 countries. Each year, students in grades 4th through 8th in Alaska, British Columbia, and Alberta, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana read and vote for their favorite book.
The book receiving the most votes for 1994 was Shiloh. The author, Phyllis Reynolds Naylor, has been writing since she was 16 years old. Many of her books are based on her own experiences. She wrote Shiloh after visiting friends in West Virginia and making the mistake of whistling to a stray beagle. The dog followed Naylor to her friend's house and stayed outside all day in the rain. Coming face to face with the issue of abandoned pets inspired Naylor to write this year's Young Readers' Choice winner, Shiloh.
Who will win in 1995? You choose the winner. All 4th through 8th graders who have read or listened to at least 2 of the nominated titles can vote in March. To help you decide which of the 12 books you want to read, here's a brief description of each.
Avi is a librarian and an author. As a kid, he was shy, not into sports, and liked to read and play games of imagination. He liked all kinds of books and listened to a lot of radio shows. Avi says, as I see it, a good children's book is a book of promises. Promises are meant to be kept. Avi promises to make you wonder, who was that masked man anyway? It's 1945 in Brooklyn, New York, and friends Franklin D. Waddleson and Mario Calvino are inspired by radio show heroes like the Lone Ranger, the Green Hornet, and Buck Rogers. They plan to right all the wrongs in their world. No one, not Frankie's parents, his war-wounded brother, their 6th grade teacher, or the evil scientist that lives upstairs is safe from their plans.
Tom Barron grew up on a Colorado ranch and loved hiking in the mountains. He gained a great respect for wilderness and an understanding about connections among all living things. Barron was writing even as a kid, creating his own magazine and writing stories and poems. Now he lives in Boulder, Colorado, where he still loves trees like The Ancient One. When Kate travels to a small Oregon logging town, she thinks a week with her Aunt Melanie will be quiet and uneventful. But recently a grove of giant redwood trees have been discovered in nearby Lost Crater. For a long time a source of great mystery, now the center is a place of conflict, placing those who want to log the forest against those who want to protect it. Kate becomes involved as she journeys back in time and embarks on a mystical quest to save a civilization, a magical island, and the forest.
Michael Doris is an anthropologist and a member of the Modoc Indian tribe. He always wondered about the young girl who was one of the first people Columbus met, but he wanted to know what she was like before that meeting. Doris also wanted to write a book for children that dispelled myths about Indians. That's why he wrote about an unforgettable family in Morning Girl. 12-year-old Morning Girl and her younger brother, Starboy, take turns telling about their family, themselves, and their life on a small island on the year 1492. Like most brothers and sisters, they quarrel, but they also are very loyal and appreciate their family and friends in times of trouble like hurricanes and visiting strangers.
Sarah Ellis lives in Vancouver, British Columbia. She was a children's librarian for many years before she began writing books. Ellis writes from her imagination and loves making things up, like her father who told jokes and her mother who loved telling stories. As a child, Ellis never imagined she would be a writer. Readers of Pickup Sticks are glad she is. Pickup Sticks. Like many 13-year-olds, Polly hates change. And when her artistic and non-traditional mother says they have to find a new apartment in 2 months, Polly is devastated, and finding a new apartment is more difficult than they thought because most places are too expensive. For a while, Polly goes to stay with her wealthy uncle's family, but her spoiled cousin Stephanie makes Polly able to appreciate what she and her mother have.
Kevin Hinkes is a writer and an artist. He has illustrated and written many picture books and says he never thought he'd be lucky enough to be a real author and illustrator. As a child, Hinkes loved books and always wondered what the authors were like. A painting in his editor's office inspired Words of Stone. It's a typical summer for Blaze, who lives in the country with his father and grandmother. He likes to spend time alone, wandering about on the hill beside his house. But then a hurtful message written with rocks appears on the side of the hill, and the summer takes an unexpected twist. By the time Blaze meets the very strange Joselle Stark, the unexpected seems almost normal.
James Howe wrote his first play when he was 7 years old. Later, his first book was Bunnicula, the Vampire Rabbit. It proved to be so popular, he went on to write an entire series about Bunnicula and the other animals in the Monroe family. These animals would rather do anything than return to Holiday Inn. The Monroes are going on a vacation, and their animals, Chester a cat, Harold a dog, and Howie a puppy, are sent to stay at Chateau Bow Wow, a boarding kennel known to our trio as Holiday Inn. Other temporary residents include a Great Dane, some yuppie puppies, a weasel, and a pair of cat burglars. Haunted by unknown voices and strange disappearances and other sinister events, the trio attempt to save a friend and solve the mystery of Holiday Inn.
An award-winning playwright, Peg Carrot, lives with her husband and animal friends in an old Washington farmhouse. When she was a child, Carrot combined her interest in animals and writing and published a dog newspaper. Carrot loved doing research at the Woodland Park Zoo in Seattle for her book, Terror at the Zoo. 12-year-old Ellen and her 8-year-old widely imaginative brother, Corey, are given a joint birthday gift, a campout at the city zoo. But the adventure turns into a night of terror when the brother and sister are locked in the zoo and chased in the darkness by a dangerous, escaped criminal. Ellen and Corey have to rely on courage and cunning in order to survive.
Lois Lowry has been writing for over 20 years, and 2 of her books have won Newbery Awards. She writes serious novels as well as humorous stories. Many ideas for her books come from childhood memories and watching her own children. Lowry also says that the mothers in her books are like her. Would she like the gifts Sam creates in her book? Attaboy, Sam. Sam Krupnick is at it again. He won't allow his mother to enter his bedroom, and he's now calling his toy box the lab. He carries a Ziploc bag in his pocket at all times. What's the big secret? Well, Sam's mother's birthday is approaching, and she really just wants homemade gifts. So Sam decides to invent a special surprise perfume just for her. It's a combination of all her favorite smells. Attaboy, Sam.
Born in China, Lindsay Namioka now lives in Seattle. She likes to write entertaining books since she loves reading and wants reading to be a pleasure for all who pick up her books. As a child, she was the only one in her musical family who was tone deaf. This inspired her story of Yang, the youngest, and his terrible ear. Everyone in the Yang family plays music beautifully except for 9-year-old Ying Tao, the youngest Yang. Even though he has been taking violin lessons from his father for 4 years, Ying Tao can't hear his own mistakes, and he makes plenty. After his family moves to Seattle from China, Yang, the youngest, finds a friend, tries to trick his father, and learns to love baseball better than music.
P.J. Peterson grew up in California and teaches English at Shasta College. When Peterson discovered he had the ability to douse, that is, detect water underground, he was surprised. This discovery made him think about undiscovered and unrecognized powers, and he came up with the idea for lyres. Things are pretty boring in Alder Creek until Sam, an 8th grader at a one-room school, discovers he has the ability to know when somebody is lying. And surprisingly, it seems everyone in their tiny town is a liar, even Sam's own father. Meanwhile, someone is after a gold mining map, setting fires, and generally up to no good. With all the liars in town, Sam wonders if there's any such thing as an honest person.
Pamela F. Service grew up loving books and daydreaming about science fiction and fantasy stories. She also loved Greek mythology. Now she is a member of her city council and a museum curator. But she still is interested in writing the kind of books she would have liked as a kid. Maybe she liked weird things, and that's why she wrote Weirdos of the Universe Unite. Last year, all Mandy wanted was to be included in the popular group, but now she wants just the opposite. She wants to be as different as possible. So she and Owen unite and form a club called Weird. Their object is to be as weird as possible. A thunderstorm strikes while they are at the library researching a mythology paper for school. Suddenly, all the lights go out and all the computers go dark, but theirs. From that moment on, life gets weirder and weirder for Mandy and Owen.
Gloria Skrzinski is a writer who wishes she could live forever so she could see how the future turns out. She lives in Utah now, but grew up in a steel mill town in western Pennsylvania. Her memories of life in this town, populated mainly by immigrants who worked in the mill, prompted the writing of Goodbye, Billy Radish. The year is 1917, and the United States had just entered World War I. The steel mill town of Canaan, Pennsylvania, lived best friends Hank Kerner and Billy Radish. Hank thinks of himself as an all-American, while Billy is a Ukrainian immigrant learning to live with two cultures. And while Billy wants to work in the steel mill when he is old enough, Hank is terrified of the mill and driven to find a different future.
Well, those are the 12 nominated books. At the end of this videotape, your librarian or teacher will show you where the Young Reader's Choice books are shelved in your library or classroom and answer your questions.
Be sure to read and don't forget to vote.
Welcome to the 1995 Senior Division Young Reader's Choice Award.
Harriet Hemings is called a servant, yet she's really a slave who belongs to Thomas Jefferson. She has always been treated well. In fact, many think Harriet may be his daughter. Harriet's mother, Sally, insists that she take her freedom promised by Jefferson when Harriet turns 21. Yet Harriet can't understand why her mother is so obsessed with freedom. How can she make herself leave Monticello, the site of everything she has ever known and loved? Wolf by the Ears was the favorite of the Senior Division voters for the 1994 Young Reader's Choice Senior Division Award. Author Anne Rinaldi discovered her love of history along with her children when her son joined a historic reenactment group. Rinaldi says she learned her history hands-on, making 18th century clothes, cooking the food, learning the songs, dances, philosophy, and lifestyle.
The Young Reader's Choice Award is the oldest children's choice award in the United States, and it is the only regional award chosen by children of 2 countries. Each year, students in grades 4th through 8th and 9th through 12th in Alaska, British Columbia, and Alberta, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana read and vote for their favorite book. The favorite senior division book for 1994 was the historical novel Wolf by the Ears by Anne Rinaldi. Who will win in 1995?
You choose the winner!
All 9th through 12th graders who have read or listened to at least 2 of the nominated titles can vote in March. To help you decide which of the 5 books you want to read, here's a brief description of each.
Lois Duncan is a popular mystery writer for young adults. Frequently, her books feature supernatural events. Strangely enough, many incidents written about in Duncan's earlier novels have come to pass in her real life. Her book, Don't Look Behind You, featured a teenage girl named April who was based on one of Duncan's daughters, Caitlin. In the book, April was chased by a hitman in a Camaro. Shortly after the book was published, Caitlin was shot to death by a hitman in a Camaro. Duncan's attempt to find her daughter's murderer prompted her to write, Who Killed My Daughter? Most readers of mysteries recognize Lois Duncan as a writer of fiction. This book, however, is a true story of a mother's determination to make sense of her daughter's murder, using psychic readings, police transcripts, taped telephone conversations, photographs, and other evidence. Duncan creates an investigative file in an effort to solve this crime.
An Army brat who lived most of his childhood overseas, Stephen Gould now lives in New York City. Although he has been writing and selling science fiction since 1979, he has also supported himself by working as an appliance repairman, karate instructor, assistant manager of a cinema, youth room supervisor, salvage diver, book reviewer, and a computer consultant. This must have given him the background he needed to write the science fiction thriller, Jumper. In order to escape his father's abusive treatment, 17-year-old Davy discovers he can teleport. He calls it jumping, and he jumps away from home permanently. As he struggles to survive alone on the streets of New York, Davy experiments with this new power and establishes a comfortable, though very unusual, lifestyle. A young man with nothing to lose and the ability to go any place he wants can help a lot of people, but he can also make a lot of trouble. In the tradition of Robin Hood and Zorro, Davy learns to use his powers heroically.
Frances Temple grew up in Virginia, France, and Vietnam. She now lives in New York and teaches primary school. She read about the firebombing of the boys' shelter in Haiti, heard some of Jean-Bertrand Aristide's speeches, saw pictures of children and teenagers working and demonstrating, and wondered what it would be like to be one of them. That inspired the writing of Taste of Salt. 17-year-old Jeremy comes to the bedside of Joe to tape record the story of his life. Joe is also 17 and has been beaten and burned by Haitian President Duvalier's thugs. The political and social injustices suffered by many of the Haitians are revealed as Joe struggles to overcome injuries to body and spirit. As Jeremy listens, she begins to fall in love and feels compelled to share her own experiences. Their 2 voices gain strength from each other's and tell of the courage, loyalty, and hope for their homeland.
Robert Lipsyte is a sports writer for the New York Times and has been writing novels for young adults for the last 25 years. As a child, Lipsyte spent most of his time reading, a great childhood for the writer of The Chemo Kid. On the night of his high school prom, Fred Bauer discovers a lump the size of an egg on his neck. It could be nothing, and it could be fatal. It could be the signal to unleash the superhuman powers of the Chemo Kid. Fred is a teenage wimp turned hero, who along with his environmental activist girlfriend turn the tables on a local company that is dumping toxic waste in the town's water supply.
Bill Wallace grew up near a buffalo herd in Oklahoma at the Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge. But it was when he took a picture of his wife's encounter with a buffalo that he got the idea for writing Buffalo Gal. 16-year-old Amanda Guthridge unwillingly goes along with her mother on a trip to Texas. It's 1904 and Amanda's environmentally active mother plans to help round up a herd of the dwindling buffalo population so they can be shipped to a wildlife preserve. Although Amanda begins this adventure wishing desperately to be back at home in her easy San Francisco life, she discovers hidden strengths and talents and accidentally falls in love.
Those are the 5 nominated books. At the end of this videotape, your librarian or teacher will show you where to find Young Reader's Choice books in your library or classroom, and they'll answer your questions.
Be sure to read, and don't forget to vote.
Okay. What am I going to say about this song?
Are you rolling in there?
Excuse me. 5 seconds of silence? Okay. Can I talk after 5 seconds of silence? I don't have to play, do I? Okay. Okay. This next song also comes from an ancient belief that the great ancestors who created the world, as they dreamed it into existence, they walked a geographical path, and as they walked this path, they sang a song. And so that song is called the song line. And the great thing about this belief to me is that each member of the tribe, when they're born, has to learn a section of this song line. And it's the way that the tribe survives, because it's the way they find their way across the desert, for example. And there's other really beautiful sort of extensions of this belief, but that's the essence of it, and that's called the song line, and this is my song line. Walking the song, singing the dream, chasing the rhythm, taste the melody. Great mysteries inform the rocks. Feet will inform the voice. Rocks, if we listen, inform the feet. Come alive, make the choice. Stalk in the truth, free in the wild, trust in the love, here in the child. Primitive humbles to the land, civilized sets itself apart, which has sustained 10,000 years, which is in danger of losing heart. Passion up from the dirt, vitality from the sky, secrets from the unknown. Without these things, what am I? I wanna laugh in the future, break in the chain, dance in the light, ease in the pain. Too many big mistakes. Bear witness to all that you find. If you always face the sun, shadow always lies behind. Walk in the song, singing the dream, chasing the rhythm, taste the melody. I wanna be stuck in the truth, free in the wild, trust in the love, here in the child, hearing the child, hearing the child. Well, that's the song line. And this next one is simply for the children, and it's called Trinity. I have gone with men to fields to dream and feel enormity, to test the alchemy of eternity. Each blade a tree trunk, our faces close to the ground. These are my children. And I have gone with women deep into caves, to dream and feel our hands and eyes. Every mineral shining like diamonds, combing laughter through our hair. And I have gone with children into the future, seeing a world without me. And in their eyes, I see if I am worthy. Actions speak the loudest. And I have been with men in fields. We feel the pull of gravity. I have been with women in caves, and I have been with children. They feel the pull of gravity. We can free the wild or remain slaves. Okay, this next song is, it's for all my heroes. People ask me who they are. You haven't asked me that yet, Michael, but I have so many different heroes that come from all over the place, and they're not all musicians at all. Dancers and poets and writers and geologists and people who work with children and people who work with different wonderful causes and people at the United States Postal Service as well. And so I sing the song for the folks at the USPS because I send a lot of postcards. And I believe that the Postal Service kind of does something magical to the stuff you put in there because, I don't know, I just like getting letters. I think it's a lost art. Anyway, this tune is called Postcards. Glances, smiles, postcard over the miles. Maybe I just can't believe it's true. One day it's forward, next day take a step back. It's taken so long to get this far, I ain't going back, baby. Too many people can't find a reason why. Too many lovers look each other in the face and pass each other by. Don't pass it by, baby. A story and a Sunday drive, we're keeping each other alive. Baby, I can't wait for the time with you. I got both hands on the wheel. This shouldn't be the way that I feel. Maybe I just can't believe it's real. Oh, now, baby, yeah, yeah. Too many questions. If reason not to ask. Now I'm not looking for answers, child, but a clue or two. Surely help me find the path. Help me find it, baby. Yeah. I heard it all before until I got your letter. Living a metaphor. It's poetry, you and me, baby. Catch it, let it go. We're closer than we know. When I can't find it, maybe you could show me. There is so much left unsaid, trying to sweep it under the bed. Talk to me and you'll find the best friend you ever had. Ooh. Too close for crying, too far away to laugh. It's not 'cause I ain't trying, no, no, but you know time carries lesions like a snake in the grass. Heard it all before. Then I got your letter, living a metaphor. It's poetry, you and me, baby. Glances, ooh, smiles, postcard over the mile. As postcards. Yeah, that's all I had for that set. Is that a good time? God. I can't believe. We stayed up a little too late last night. I know. I forgot that I was gonna, it was gonna be like really kind of, like I couldn't just mush my way through it, No mushing. Thanks. I'm getting there. We should do the whole show over now, It's all right.
Oh, great. I'll be right back.
Okay. It's fun, actually. One more? Okay, I was gonna maybe do 3 women.
This is Musician Spotlight. My guest on tonight's program is Beth McIntosh. Nice to have you here, Beth. Do you want to talk a little bit about your heroes?
Yeah,
Some
talk
of the people that have
heroes.
influenced your life?
Well, I have so many different heroes, and one of them is in the room right now. Doug Peacock is with us here in the studio, and he's a hero. And another one is also in the room right now, Kim Carlson. She's my hero too. She's been with me on the road for a couple of weeks now. And Doug's work, of course, revolves around the Great Bear and a lot of other things too. I think a lot of folks in Missoula and in Montana generally know about his work. And then I have heroes like, for example, one of my favorite musician heroes is a guy named Jim Pepper, who is now deceased, but was one of the first Native American jazz players I ever met. Who worked in New York City with Don Cherry and also worked with John Scofield and with Colin Walcott of the Oregon Band, and managed to integrate Black American jazz, Native American music, and his own brand of originality all together in an amazing way. And as a musician, his work is probably among my very favorite, although I have so many favorites. It's hard to say, but
I'm sure it's a long list.
It's a long list. Goes on and on.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the program. Best of luck with your new recording, which we'll
Thanks.
expect
Mhm.
sometime perhaps in the fall. And have a great trip back to
Thank you very much. I'll do Three Women since I am going back to Wyoming. And I am very proud of this song because it won the Wyoming Performing Arts Fellowship for me. So it's kind of like a child that went out and did well and came back with something special. And I'll just sing it for you. It's called Three Women. To Wyoming, one lives her life in the middle of town. One sees her days out far over the mountain, and one lets her family down. Now these three women have one thing in common. They all hold the key to life in their hands. One wears a hat and the other wears a diamond, and one plants her feet in this land. One plants her feet in the high desert sand. And they watch, and they watch, and they watch from the corners of the valley. Yeah, they watch, and they watch. They're watching you now. These three women come to Wyoming looking for the time of their lives. And there's a photograph, and everybody's laughing. And it shows these three women come to Wyoming. You can see Wyoming through their eyes as they watch, and they watch, and they watch from the photograph. Yeah, they watch, and they watch. They're watching you. These three women come to Wyoming, and you can see Wyoming through their eyes. Now these three women come to Wyoming a long, long time ago now. And the edges of the photograph are yellow and ragged, and one of them now lies in the ground. One of them now, she lies in the ground. And there's a photograph, you can see them laughing, and you can see how they felt when they came to Wyoming. You can see Wyoming through their eyes as they watch, and they watch, and they watch from history. Yeah, they watch, and they watch, they're watching you now. These three women come to Wyoming, and you can see Wyoming through their eyes. Thank you very much. Yay! Woo! Yeah.
Recording a legal ID for KUFM.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Video for this, yeah.
Get that video off of me. Okay. Hi, this is Beth McIntosh, and you're listening to Montana Public Radio, KUFM in Missoula at 89.1 FM, and KGPR in Great Falls at 89.9 FM. It's a breeze.
Piece of cake, thank you.
Yay! Thank you.
Nice
Thank you,
job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Michael.
Oh. I think I kind of suspected that because I was too close. Okay. I was popping. Okay. Hi. Hi, this is Beth McIntosh, and you're listening to Montana Public Radio, KUFM in Missoula at 89.1 FM and KGPR in Great Falls at 89.9 FM. Hi, this is Beth McIntosh. You're listening to Montana Public Radio, KUFM in Missoula at 89.1 FM and KGPR in Great Falls at 89.9 FM. And it's Sunday, and I hope everybody's having a good time. Thank you.